And in the bank guarantee, now rule is little bit changed here. So let us understand what do you mean by bank guarantee. Bank guarantee acts a motivating factor for buyers and sellers to involve in international trade. ये basic understanding है. Under a bank guarantee, bank gives a performance bond at the instance of a seller for fulfillment of seller's obligation under the contract of sale. The guarantee being that the guarantor would pay on first demand without any condition or proof. So the courts are very slow. This is what is the little bit difference. Courts are slow to interfere with its operation. The seller is assured of payment irrespective of the compliance or non-compliance of the terms of the contract between the seller and buyer. So what is the established rule now? Where a bank gives a guarantee to pay on first demand and without contestation and without reference to such party and without questioning the legal relationship in those favor, the guarantee was given, and the party on whose behalf it was given, notwithstanding any dispute between the parties, the bank is obliged to pay according to the contractual obligation, and the court will not give an injunction restraining to pay. Where this particular established rule has been emerged, it has been emerged under Maharashtra Electricity Board, Bombay versus the official liquidator High Court, Ernakulam. So to understand this, we can say that if the creditor is demanding that I want now my money, whether there is a breach of a condition from the creditor or from the principal debtor, if creditor want to get these things on any sort of default, then bank will not go into the question that let me check whether the terms and conditions are been fulfilled, whether there is an actual default of the principal debtor, and then only I will pay you. No, bank is not supposed to do all these things. The moment creditor is asking, the moment creditor is demanding, pay me my money, bank without any second question is obliged to first of all pay as a suretor, and then subsequently whatever that is there, that will be taken care by the principal debtor and will be helped bank if there is no any kind of default. Is that clear? So this is how the whole thing goes here. Now when we go to the next point, now that is the rights of the surety. Where it is mentioned under section 140. So now you need to first of all understand rights against principal debtor. So what are the suretor's right against principal debtor? First of all, doctrine of subrogation. Now, what do you mean by doctrine of subrogation? The surety upon payment or performance of all that he is liable for is invested with all the rights which the creditor had against the principal debtor. That we call it as subrogation. Means whatever the right creditor is having against the principal debtor, once suretor has paid money to the creditor, now suretor will step into the shoe of the creditor, and now suretor are, suretor is having all those rights which were enjoyed or which are been, eligible, to the creditors. Now all those rights will be enjoyed by the suretor. This is what is the simple language. This means that the surety steps into the shoe of creditor. Whatever the rights the creditor had are now available to the surety after paying the debt to the creditor. Where this is, emerged, it is emerged in the Lamphill Iron Ore Company Limited, 1927. The same thing was also upheld in the Kadamba Sugar Industries Private Limited versus Devru Ganapati, All India Reporter, 1993, Karnataka High Court case. What here the Karnataka High Court held that surety is entitled to the benefits of the securities even if he is not aware of their existence. Okay. The another important, principle and the right is Mamta Ghosh versus United Industrial Bank, All India Reporter, 1987, Calcutta High Court. Now what Calcutta High Court decided, under the right of subrogation, the surety may get certain rights even before payment. In this case, the principal debtor was disposing of his personal properties one after another, lest the suitee, after paying the debt, seized them. The security sought for temporary injunction was granted. So basically what happened here, principal debtor wanted to do certain kind of fraud on the suretor, and principal debtor was not interested to pay back suretor, so he started selling off his property one after another, but he is not, ready to pay suretor's amount which suretor had paid to the creditor. So suretor brought the case against the principal debtor, and after going through with the case and the evidences and the records placed before the court gave the order that whatever the property principal debtor is selling, now that will be stopped, it will be reinstated, and first of all, whatever the surety's amount is required to be paid by the principal debtor, that will be first of all satisfied, and then the remaining things will be allowed to sell. This was the judgment. Now the second one, right to indemnity, where it is mentioned in section 145. Now what happens here? Every contract of guarantee, there is an implied promise, okay, by the principal debtor to indemnify suretor, okay, to indemnify suretor. Clear? So what happens here? The surety is entitled to recover from principal debtor whatever the sum he has rightfully paid under the guarantee, but no sums which he has paid wrongly. So now let's take example. Suretor is supposed to pay, principal debtor is supposed to pay 5,000 rupees and he failed. So now the suretor is liable to pay 5,000 rupees. But suretor did not cross verify this amount with the principal debtor, and suretor paid 6,000 rupees. So now here, Actual amount is 5,000 rupees supposed to be paid, but 1,000 rupees extra being paid by the surety. Now, as far as the payment recovery is concerned from the principal debtor by the suretor is concerned, principal debtor is liable to pay back only 5,000 rupees and not the 6,000 rupees. It is the mistake and the blunder of the suretor that he should have been cross-verified how much amount he is liable to pay to the creditor, and accordingly he should have paid that much amount only. Is that clear? So this is what the right to indemnity, and there is a exception to the indemnity is also mentioned. Now the third right, doctrine of contribution, 147. So basically section 146 and 47 fix the liability of co-sureties for the same debt. So how the section 146 covers this, let us understand. Language of section 146 is co-sureties liability to contribute equally. Where two or more persons are co-sureties for the same debt or duty, either jointly or severally, and whether under the same or different contracts, and whether with or without the knowledge of each other, the co-sureties, in the absence of any contract to the contrary, are liable as between themselves to pay each an equal share of the whole debt or of that part of it which remains unpaid by the principal debtor. This is what is the doctrine of contribution. Is that clear? So co-suretors are always required and they are having these rights against each other as a co-suretor and jointly against principal debtor. Now let's take one example. A, B, and
So,
C.
excuse me. Before you proceed, doesn't this contradict with one of the examples you talked about of limited guarantee contract, where one of the surety may be contributing, for example, 5,000, and the other is contributing 3,000. So how come that here they are going to pay the same amount?
So you yourself has given answer. Which will supersede on which? Tell me.
So I'm saying there's an exception in that matter.
So what will supersede?
Limited will supersede.
But his side of portion has to be satisfied. He required to pay his side of debt as a co-suretor. Is that clear?
Clear.
Any doubt?
No doubt.
So if there is no this particular limited liability guarantee is there, then what will be the scenario? Equal. If 5,000 rupees is required to pay, then 2,500 rupees each co-suretor. Clear?
Clear.
Sure. So now let's move to the next point. So A, B, and C are sureties to D for the sum of 3,000 rupees lent to E. E makes default in payment. A, B, C are liable as between themselves to pay 1,000 rupees each. Let's take another example. A, B, and C are sureties to D for sum of 1,000 rupees lent to E, and there is a contract between A, B, and C that A is to be responsible to the extent of 1/4, B to the extent of 1/4, and C to the extent of 1/3. So now here, when E makes default in the payment, so as between the sureties, A is liable to pay 250 rupees, B is 250 rupees, and C 500 rupees. I think this answer is again answering your question, Moses. Correct?
Correct.
Okay, now next. So what they say is that they are liable to contribute between themselves equally or in accordance with the contract amongst themselves. Clear? Now, but where any co-surety becomes insolvent, now what shall be done? Now there is a situation. There are two co-suretor and one co-suretor is become insolvent. So now whether the other co-suretor is liable to pay the whole amount, then the other surety must pay the whole amount between them. But here it is one more exception. What is the exception? If there is a contract limiting his guarantee, then the remaining amount will be not liable to be paid by this co-suretor. Clear? This is how you need to understand. So the rule is that a co-surety who has received a counter security from the debtor must bring it in the force the benefit of his co-surety. Now let's take the example. There is A and B, they are the co-suretor. Okay. And now, A has received the complete amount from principal debtor. So now it is the duty of the A to give that much amount which is paid by B, who was also the co-suretor, to the principal debtor. A alone cannot, use. A alone cannot keep the complete amount with him. Whatever the amount the co-suretor B has paid, A as a co-suretor, is required to give back that much amount what he has received from principal debtor. Clear? 1 minute. Okay. So now, yes. So section 147 reads thus: liability of co-sureties bound in different sums. Co-sureties who are bound in different sums are liable to pay equally as far as the limits of their respective obligations permit. So now let's take the example. A, B, C are sureties for D, enter into 3 several bonds, each in a different penalty, namely A in the penalty of 10,000 rupees, B that of 20,000, and C in that of 40,000. Conditioned for these duly accounting to E. D makes default to the extent of 30,000 rupees. Now A, B, and C are each liable to pay 10,000 rupees. Let's take second example. Same again. Okay, now D makes default to the extent of 40,000 rupees. So now how? 10 and B and C 15,000 rupees. Why? Because A's limit is already over. A's limit is already over. Now let's take the example. Now D makes the default of 70,000 rupees. So now how? A will pay 10,000, B will pay 20,000, and C will pay 40,000, full amount. See here. A, B, C have to pay each the full penalty of his bond. Clear? Is that clear? Any doubt? Now, under this section, equal contribution is subject to the maximum limit, if any, fixed by a surety of his liability. And this section contemplates cases where several securities make themselves responsible for a debt, but upon a certain limit fixed by each. And this section says that each surety must contribute equally, subject to the limit given by each one of them. And it may be noted that the contribution under the section is equal and not rateable or proportionate to the maximum liability of each co-suretor. Clear? So now we'll stop here. Everyone please switch on your video. Okay, let's start, attendance. Devansh,
Yes, sir.
Devam, Apurv,
Present, sir.
Kishan, Rucha, Rishi,
Present, sir.
Nilesh,
Yes, sir.
Akanksha,
Present, sir.
Lisa,
Present, sir.
Naitik,
Present, sir.
Harshil, Naman,
Present, sir.
Harshil,
Present.
Divya,
Present, sir.
Yash, Kasawabi.
Sir, present, sir. Yes, present.
Okay. Lacey Sivanda,
Present, sir.
Lisa John, Lisa, David.
Present.
Okay. Ambuza.
Present, sir.
Okay. Now, Neha, Neha, Shabir,
Present, sir.
Yatri,
Present, sir.
Jitendra,
Present, sir.
Ali, Karan, Yagnesh, Amarjeet, Varda,
Present, sir.
Pinky,
Present, sir.
Ayush,
Present, sir.
Vivek,
Present, sir.
Monica,
Present, sir.
Disha.
Present, sir. Present, sir.
Just a minute. Who has said something? Hey, who has just simply WhatsApp me? What is your name? Who WhatsApped me? What is your name? Some problem is there, not working Zoom. Devam. Okay, 1 minute. Okay, Devam, I have given you attendance. Don't worry. Vishal,
Present, sir.
Henry,
Present, sir.
Isaac,
Present, sir.
Moses,
Present, sir.
Yashraj,
Present, sir.
Rushi,
Present, sir.
Junaid, Daniel, Kibrij Hassan,
Present, sir.
Mogya, Yagding,
Yes, sir.
Anthony,
Present.
is anyone left out for the attendance? What happened? David, he is having some network problem. 1 minute. Where is David? Yeah, I gave him attendance.
We are sharing the same phone.
No problem.
Okay,
Anyone
sir.
else? No one is, left for the attendance, correct? Chalo, then see you in the next class. Bye-bye.